Good afternoon, Nigeria. Welcome to another edition of the Arena on Aneke TV, a place where we dissect the happenings in Nigeria. I am Faith Wins Ezi. When we talk about national security, most people think of the army or the police, but there is another critical force behind the scenes, often barely recognized or referenced, but absolutely essential. In today's program on the Arena, we shine the spotlight on the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, a team committed to protecting our communities, securing assets, and standing strong in times of crisis. At this moment, we are honored to host the distinguished representative of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, the Superintendent of Corps, Nwatu Emmanuel, who is the PA to the State Commandant and the Principal Staff of the Public Relations Office, to help us better understand their mission, their challenges, and the vital role they play in Nigeria's security architecture. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Faith. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For this beautiful opportunity. I'm delighted. I am bringing you warm greetings and, of course, to our wonderful viewers, warm greetings from the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. That's paramilitary agency, that grassroots paramilitary agency that is charged with the responsibility of protection of lives and property. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, what would you say are the core responsibilities of the NSCDC and how do they differ from the police or the army?
Thank you so much. Let me first of all begin by bringing warm greetings from my state commandant, who is Commandant Elijah Etim Willie, PhD. He is the substantive state commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. And he has been so since the 1st of November 2024, last year. And since then, he hit the road running and has done quite a lot. And I hope to showcase most of his achievements. But then let me go straight to your question.
Thank
you. You asked about the roles of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. And it's such a beautiful question, and all the more why you can see we appreciate Aneke TV for being such wonderful partners. Because many Nigerians, honestly, surprisingly too, do not know what really the NSCDC, what we do. And let me begin by, first of all, highlighting that the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps is a grassroots paramilitary agency. It's a federal agency, and that means that our structure, cascades down from the federal government, state governments, and down to the very local government areas, right down to the communities. We have state commands in all the states of the federation, and of course we have area commanders and divisional officers. So you can understand when I say that we are a grassroots paramilitary agency. We also live among the people, and that makes us very unique. We don't live and stay in barracks like the soldiers.
Yes.
So we live among the people, and it is very deliberate. That allows us to be able to source for intelligence. So the average NSCDC officer is an intelligence officer. He's not just there. He's there doing something. And so down to the roles of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. One of them, of course, is critical national assets protection. Protection of infrastructure that are critical to the survival of Nigeria. And that is one of the core mandates of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. If you go around maybe power installations, telecommunications installations, you will see our men there. Okay. They are not there as just the regular security men. They are there as intelligence officers, and they are there to ensure that the survival of these infrastructure, to ensure that they bring actionable intelligence to the center. The NSCDC is also involved in crisis management. And when we say crisis management, it's quite a broad department. That will include the Agro Rangers. The Agro Rangers, they are a specialized unit under the Crisis Management Department. And their role is to ensure that they mediate between farmer-herder conflicts.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And we have quite a number of them, thousands all over the country. It was actually established in 2016. That was in response to the escalating incidents of farmer-herder clashes. And so they are also trained mediators. They mediate between communities that clash, and also ensure that they protect agro-allied companies. They do many more than this, but basically they are not partisan in the sense that they are not only supporting the farmers or the pastoralists. They ensure that they mediate and give a fair, balanced hearing to both. Of course, we have under the same crisis management department, we have the Peace and Conflict Resolution Unit. The Peace and Conflict Resolution Unit is another specialized unit where they leverage on alternative dispute resolution. We have trained mediators, and, lawyers who can mediate on civil affairs. You know, there are certain cases that do not require litigation, where people feel that they just want somebody to mediate. But then when we mediate, the resolutions are binding on both partners. It's not just the regular family meeting resolution. They are binding. And that makes it very unique. We have lawyers also who can always wade into the matter to ensure that there is balanced hearing. Of course, we also have the counterterrorism, which is also under the crisis management. We also have the disaster management unit. The disaster management unit are, they intervene when there are accidents. We have the search and rescue team, and then we have the mitigation and prevention. And so basically, those in the mitigation and prevention will go on surveillances, weekly surveillances, to assure that everywhere is normal and calm. Of course, we have the health services also under the crisis management department. We also have the CBNR, the chemical, biological, nuclear, and radioactive units. Their role is very critical also in these days when people can create bombs with chemicals. And so they are basically policing the movement of chemicals, especially chemicals that can be used to produce bombs. And they provide intelligence as it relates to this. We also have, of course, it is very important to ensure that I let you know that the private guard companies are also under the purview of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. We are the regulators and the licensing body for the private guard companies. And so it is illegal for any private guard company to operate without being licensed. The NSCDC ensures that they license you, and then it is renewed. Licenses are renewable annually. And so it is a fault if a private guard company does not renew its licenses when it is due. It's a fault when a company decides to engage security men, to guard their premises that are not, not a licensed company.
Yes.
Now that is very, very important, because many people wonder and say, "Oh, why can't we just, sew uniform for our men?" You are going to run into trouble with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. If you think it is just to put on your uniform, no. We are ensuring that there is sanity in that very area. Of course, the work we do is leverage on intelligence gathering. Intelligence and investigation. We have a very strong intelligence and investigations department because that is really the backbone of what we do in the NSCDC. Everything we do leverages on that, because the NSCDC was founded as an organization that will work deeply by sourcing intelligence to help the government.
Okay, sir. So, how would you describe the NSCDC's contribution to maintaining good governance in Nigeria?
Wow, I will say that the NSCDC has grown in leaps and bounds, I'd say. From a very humble beginnings at the commencement of the Civil War.
Okay.
When at a time when Nigerians were new to what war is all about. Their role at that time was to educate the citizenry on how they can manage themselves in the event of war, how to identify bombs and how to take cover. But then after the war, it became a national outfit, and then at a point it was established in various states. And then luckily in 2003, we all know that the NSCDC Act of 2003 was passed, and it became a statutory legal organization, security agency in Nigeria. And today, one of the foremost internal security agencies in the country. The NSCDC today is no longer that what they used to call us was Guguru security. Of course, Guguru is the corn meal that is light.
That's very light.
Light.
Yeah.
Today, the NSCDC is an armed outfit. We have armed personnel, and in fact, we are churning out hundreds of officers who are trained in arms. Almost everybody who's a civil defender today is armed trained. Oh yes, that is the way it is going.
Okay,
and so the NSCDC is truly involved in is now a bona fide member of the security architecture in the country. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. I promise this is a lot of information that I know that so many of us are really not aware of. So what role does the NSCDC play in helping the government enforce law and policy, especially around infrastructural protection? You mentioned something about one of the key roles of NSCDC to be taking responsibility for infrastructural maintenance and protection. So how do they come in the enforcement of law and policy around that?
Yeah, the NSCDC is what we call the police around critical national assets and infrastructure, like I have already mentioned. They are also, of course, when it comes to issues relating to mining.
Okay.
They are the watchdogs of the mining sector. Many people do not know that the NSCDC are the watchdogs. So, they are illegal mines where people want to exploit the resources of the country, and they do not want to pay royalties to the federal government, because the mining sector is under the exclusive right of the federal government. That means royalties are to be paid directly to the federal government.
Okay.
And so where this is not done, and where there are miners who are not licensed, they will run into trouble with the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. Of course, we've talked about critical national assets and infrastructure. And maybe at this point I should also talk about the works of my state commandant, who, since he came, he established new divisions, about 20 new division offices, and 4 new area commands. Previously, we had just one division officer per local government area. So in other words, in the 17 local government areas of Enugu State, we had only 17 division officers, as it were. And then we had 3 area commanders supervising these divisional officers. So, but with his coming, he has established 20 more. And then 4 new area commands. So that brings a total of 37 divisional offices and 7 area commands. And of course, you know what that means. It translates to ensuring that in one local government, you may have up to 2 divisional offices.
Yes.
Because some local governments are quite larger than others. For instance, in Umunwanyi, they have quite large, and of course, with the threat level there, in places like that, and issues and so on, there may be need for more divisional officers so that they can partition those local government areas for a closer supervision and for more prompt intelligence gathering. So these are things that the NSCDC is doing to support the work of the government. Of course, we are very appreciative of the Enugu State Governor, talking about Dr. Peter Ndubisi Mba, for the wonderful, laudable projects across the states. I think it would be unfair if we do not celebrate him, give him a minute to celebrate him on this program. Yeah. Because it's wonderful. We are seeing what we see in Dubai, right here in Enugu State. We see cameras, in various strategic places, and that are working. It's not just planting cameras, but cameras that are working, that have eyes behind them. Not just the camera eyes, but the eyes behind the camera. And if you go to the command and control center, right there in the government house, I have had the privilege of working right in there. to see amazing, what I may call screens capturing, major parts of Enugu, even streets.
Oh, that's really amazing.
It's as serious as maybe when you get maybe if your bag is snatched or something,
so
and you can radio to that room, and you tell them the exact time, they can focus and capture everything, even your voice.
So you tell us definitely more about that, because that's definitely an interesting
thing that
we would love to know more about. So we'll be going on a short break, and you're still watching The Arena on Aneke TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Aneke TV with Faith Twins. It's been an interesting conversation about the role of NSCDC in governance with my guest, the SC, Nwatu Emmanuel, who is the PA to the State Commandant and a Principal Staff of the Public Relations Office of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. Alright, sir, I would like to know more. How does regulating private guard companies contribute to strengthening institutional order and accountability?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Faith, for that beautiful question. You see, the NSCDC, like I said earlier, is the regulatory body, the regulatory agency responsible for licensing and monitoring private guard companies in Nigeria under the Private Guard Companies Act. And that means that before you form or before you establish any private guard company, you must pay a visit to the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. There are certain stages of processes that you will go through before you are adjudged as competent and able to effectively drive the company. Yes, the NSCDC does not. We regard the private guard companies as an extension, and that's the truth, of our arm, as it were. We don't look at them just as people who are trained and licensed by the NSCDC. No, we believe that they can contribute effectively to sourcing intelligence because, I mean, they interact with people every day where they meet. They are involved in guarding premises of some VIPs. They are involved in guarding banks and so on and so forth. And so they can be a veritable source of intelligence support to the security architecture of the state. And so in that sense, you see, they are more important than just putting on their uniform and smiling happy. So we truly regard them as part and parcel of what we do. And we train them to ensure that they are living up to expectation, because, like I said earlier, that there must be sanity in the system, and the NSCDC believes that if they intervene more in the training process of the private guard companies and give them what we call specialized and professional training, that they will do better on the field. So, in that sense, we are truly in control of the private guard companies, and I'm sure they are very proud of us. We also have, once in a while, we organize stakeholder meetings where we sensitize them on the expectations. Because NSCDC is an agency that believes in the rule of law and the respect of human rights. So we communicate this idea to these private guard companies so that they do not abuse their powers, they do not abuse the uniform. At any point in time, they respect the people that they handle, and they truly become the image that we would love to see.
All right, that's great. And to say that NSCDC is involved in, security as a whole, how involved is NSCDC in community-based security and public education?
Oh yeah, public education, that's wonderful. You just brought my mind to a program that just concluded a few weeks ago. The NSCDC partners with some NGOs. Okay. We partnered with the Galaxy of Stars, Consult Nigeria, and the Association for Better Nigeria. These are NGOs that are devoted to what do I call youth development. And just a few weeks ago, with the Galaxy of Stars, the NSCDC in Enugu State here held a program for young people, young students. In fact, we rallied about 17 schools at the PPSMB, and the theme was on drug abuse and the dangers of drug abuse. You see, the NSCDC believes that the terrorists, the bandits, the kidnappers that you see today were once innocent school children. And so all the more you see the need why it is so important to catch them young.
Yes, absolutely.
The state commandant, Commandant Elijah Etim Willie, PhD, truly believes that this is a powerful strategy, that we can go to the schools, educate them about these beautiful ideals of the NSCDC, which they can replicate, at that level, and it will truly transform their lives. And you know what drug abuse does too.
Of course.
Yeah, it makes young people to lose their senses and engage in violent crimes. So this is one of the things that we are doing.
We're really happy to hear that. And how can citizens work alongside the NSCDC to support safety and national peace?
There is so much that the citizens can do. There is so much that people, even in the rural communities, can do. Today we're talking of the menace of kidnappers, the menace of pastoralists, who are almost, you may say, committing genocide in some places across the country. We think of places in like Benue State where whole villages are sacked. And these are horrible things. Even in Enugu State, in places around issues of Hamufu and so on, places like Mbuji, Edem, and border communities, this situation of armed headsmen attacks is very, very paramount. And so it is worrisome that these forests, these rural communities that depend on the forest for their livelihoods, can, being ravaged like this. These are people who are poor, and then even to eke out a living, they are not even allowed to do that. So it's truly worrisome. The NSCDC partakes in joint tax patrols, along with other security agencies across highways that traverse these forests, to ensure that they monitor the roads to ensure that there is security. But you see, there is so much that people can do also. There's so much that these people in the communities can also do. Instead of seeing themselves always as victims, they can also see themselves as the first line of defense. And that means that they can, if they know how to report, if they know, because it is a wonder that you go to maybe a community and you want to build on a land, and the next second somebody knows that you are building. And that means that they have their intelligence, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
Yes. So, and that means that it can be applied in other ways. Maybe they just don't know how to report or who to report to. And maybe that's a critical issue. And maybe that's why we need to educate and sensitize them, and give them hotlines so they can reach out and cooperate with security agencies.
Yes.
So we're at yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
So are there moments when the NSCDC body comes together to do a sensitization or create awareness in location? Okay, let's bring it back home a bit. So for Enugu, for example, where we have walking cameras that captures, when we have thefts going on and other criminal activities and non-criminal activities, of course, are there hotlines that we could call that are working? Because, we have a lot of cases in Nigeria where we call and there's no response.
That is true.
Do we have working hotlines? Can you kindly share with us?
Yes. We're actually working on toll-free lines actively at the moment, because it is something that is very important, especially as you may be having problem in maybe not Enugu State, maybe another state. So it is very handy when you can call a number and a voice asks you, where do you want to direct this call?
Yeah.
Relay your complaints, and I can assure you that your problems or challenges will be treated immediately.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here and shedding light on the NSCDC contribution to national order and safety. And do you have any final words for the youth and all our viewers?
Oh yes, I have a final word to the wonderful, amazing Nigerian youths. I want you to know that you are wonderful in every way. You're creative, you're blessed with all ideas. In fact, all over the world, Nigerian youths are among the smartest people. And honestly, there is no use for you to involve yourselves in crime or criminalities, as the case may be. Crime will only take you so far, make you stay longer than you want to stay, spend more than you want to spend, and you will pay dearly at last, more than you ever planned to pay. Please stay away from crime. There are quite a lot of amazing things that you can involve yourself in that will earn you money. With all the fraud going on, you don't need all that to be able to make a living for yourself. If you will put yourself to some constructive ideas, you will definitely make enough to take care of yourself and your family. Please stay out of crime. The NSCDC loves you, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And it's a wrap of today's program. Don't forget to keep the conversation going across all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV for more insightful updates on the arena. And to everyone watching, remember, security is everyone's responsibility. Let's stay informed, stay involved, and keep building a Nigeria that works for all. Until next time, I am Faith Wins as the